You know, I got to check with people too. I got to check with people too about this new look. See if they approve.
I vote to hide that face.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Bourbon and Badges, the podcast. We are here in our fifth season, deep into our fifth season. And we have a fun podcast we're going to be talking about today. And drink some bourbon. And let's just get rolling, guys. How we doing?
Everything from bungholes to assholes.
Yeah. So we have so on the just to get everybody a little bit of a peek of what we're going to be looking at today. We got a Gastonia police officer arrest. We're going to talk a little bit about that and what that person did,
which I think falls right on the heels of you talking about Charlotte Meck letting people lie on their polygraph.
Exactly right. Your department's only going to be to who you hire. You know, if you hire low, you're going to get low standards. High, you know, it's the same thing. We're going to talk about another fellow podcasting show, The Glenn Show, with a gentleman named Glenn Lowry and John McWhorter. The reason this is significant is a week or so after we talked about the George Floyd revelations and how he was not killed by Derek Chauvin. These two gentlemen, who both are black professors at colleges who have this podcast, agreed with Bourbon and Badge's assessment. He was not killed by Derek Chauvin. And they couldn't believe themselves. You know, it was hard for them to talk about it.
I think you just talked about it.
Yeah, I think you did too.
Instead of going to talk about it.
But we're going to talk about
it. He was on the verge of becoming the rantinator just right then.
Yeah, just a second
right
ago.
Then,
just a second
on the
ago.
verge.
Hey, we need a little meter that runs inside the show that just goes from like green to red to red.
The red explosion out the top of it.
Like little fireworks or something.
Yeah. And then, of course, the one that 12-year-old Rodnator is going to talk about is the sex in the Senate. That's going to be a good one.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have an arrest of an FBI agent. I think it's interesting on what he was arrested for. So we have a good lineup. Hope we can get to all of it.
Going on, man. And guess what? None of us involves us.
Exactly right.
Exactly.
Clean. Let's get to it, man. I'm doing some Crown Royal Black today. Going Canadian on you. But
Canadian.
There it is. Hey. All right. How about you guys? What's going on?
Go ahead.
I am
1792 small batch. Okay. Nice.
Yep.
And Jimmy Red whiskey home brew.
Oh, that's the mix, isn't it?
Coming straight from the mountain. Yeah, Jimmy
Red. Slow. Put that back over so we can look at it. Is that a wax seal on top of that thing?
No, sir. That was the official Shootout Mountain electrical tape seal.
Oh,
nothing but the best.
No,
that's right, man.
You know, nothing but the best. High-end electrical seal.
That's the way we roll around here, man.
Okay.
Hey, I do want to add before we get started. You know, everybody listens to us, and you know, if you want to hear, we need this in the short. I guess if you want to hear what actual police officers think that's no longer is monitored or censored by their department, you know, we're a place to go. Yeah, we'll tell you like it is. We don't know department's monitoring us or telling us what we can or can't say or censoring us.
Yep.
Yeah, so you know, you want to hear actually what we think, and actually it's generally the truth. What happens in the law enforcement field.
Yep.
We are the place to go.
Yep. Uncensored. We no longer are yoked. We are free to say what we want to say with no pressure.
How's that electrical tape?
That electrical tape. Yep. That's classy, bro. That's Shootout Mountain shit right there.
Hey, it looked pretty good, didn't it? I shut the helm down when I took it off. It looked like a regular seal.
Yeah, I thought it was.
All right. My Crown Black is kind of a vanilla-y smell. Vanilla, and maybe some leather. Vanilla-y? Is that a word?
I thought those were singers.
A little bit of a burn. Not too bad. How's your guys?
Milli Vanilli.
We can't smell yours. We don't know.
I'm asking you about your shit. Move on. Don't be delaying the freeze. We got a lot to talk about, you know.
Let me throw some history out there. Throw some history out there. You know how Canadian whiskey got its big foothold in the United States?
How's that?
Prohibition. Border.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because when it was illegal here, they just fucking bootlegged it across, huh?
They did.
Yeah, it's what it is. In the wintertime, they just drive across the Great Lakes into Canada, pick up the Canadian whiskey, and bring it back.
Yep. Hey, was that kind of on that show, The Untouchables? Is that part of that group where they were at the Canadian border?
Yep.
You remember that part?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Remember well. Watched it.
Okay.
About 2 months ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was a good movie.
And Boardwalk Empire.
That was a good movie.
Is on there too.
I get a lot getting a lot of moonshine. A lot of moonshine on the nose here.
Wonder why?
Well, yeah, that's yours, man.
But it's more of a whiskey. It's more of a whiskey. You know, it's the guys. What is the staves up in there? Staves or staves? What's it called? Hound dog.
Stave. STAVE. Staves. It's the
Stage
charred wood.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's kind of mix of the moonshine whiskey smell, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very light, very sweet. Hound dog, I think you'd like this.
Oh, cool.
You can see the color. Mine's kind of darkish, a little bit dark. I like it. It's kind of cool.
You know, I hate to sound like a broken record, but on my 1792, it's kind of got a pretty good color to it, I think. But I can smell nothing but alcohol. Straight up alcohol. I don't know why I can't smell nothing but every freaking week. I like to be able to say, that smells like a burnt cigar and, that you've been had underwater for 16 months. But it just smells like alcohol. Cauliflower. But that's what it smells like, alcohol.
Oh, Hound Dog. I called Hound Dog because I had to tell him. I had to tell Hound Dog this story, man, when it happened. We were, a couple buddies was over. We're smoking cigars, drinking bourbon out on the front porch.
Mm-hmm.
Come in that night, and I thought, I'm going to scare my cigar. It might still be lit. I didn't want to just leave it anywhere. So I dropped it down into an old tea bottle that you buy across the counter. Mm-hmm. Next morning, I get up and walk into the living room. I went into the kitchen, open that thing up. I took a swig, thinking it's that tea. Oh, I gagged, 30 minutes. Oh, God, it was terrible.
You drank the cigar one?
Oh, yeah, it was terrible.
Oh, Jesus, dude.
I dry heaved, 30 minutes. And laughing the whole time, so Hound Dog's going to love this.
Well, that reminds me because I had a roommate in college who would wake up with a dip and go to bed with a dip. You know what I'm saying? One of these guys who dip Copenhagen like all day long.
And his roommate was a dip.
Yeah. Not funny. And so he'd have Coke cans with dip. And sometimes people, when they were in my room, if they were a little tipsy, they wouldn't realize it. They want to take a swig of Coke. Man, they got a mouthful of saliva, some spit and tobacco, and they would just hurl every freaking one. It's terrible, dude.
Oh, it's terrible.
But anyway, this one tastes real good. It's kind of got a vanilla taste to it, a little bit of a bite to it. It's not bad. Crown Royal Black, and price point $32. So it's in my wheelhouse. It's not too expensive. Again, it's a Canadian blended whiskey. Tilts a little bit more like bourbon, but yeah. It's good. It's decent.
Mine 1792 small batch. It's the distillery is Barton. It's not 1792, and like we said on previous podcasts, 1792 is the year that Kentucky became a state. And this is 46.85% alcohol by volume, which is like 93 point something or another proof. The mash bill on the 74% corn, 18% rye, 8% barley. So it's a high rye.
Okay.
Age statement.
High rye. Gotcha.
Yeah, they claim to be around 4 years, but at one point, back before they decided to do the repackaging like this, it was packaged in like a regular whiskey bottle, and I believe they had an age statement on those bottles of 8 years. And back then, the 8 years was just a number onto a bottle. Nobody really cared how long it was been aged. Back when they did this, so they changed the packaging. Started not listing the age statement. So this is probably somewhere around 4 years. Price point's about $25 to $35, depending on where you are.
Okay.
And it's I can definitely tell it's a high rye because it got my attention when I first drank it. Being peppery and stuff.
Hey, let me just throw this out to everybody. I don't know if all three of us knows or not, but in our listeners, if we talk over each other, if we sound funny, man, our pre-podcast meeting went great, no glitches whatsoever. And now, Hound Dog, you keep hanging up on us. I know you're talking stuff and everything should be fine for the podcast, but just throw that out there if we talk over each other.
Yeah, it happens, especially if there's bad weather coming through because we're in 3 different locations: Shootout Mountain, the beach, and Gastonia. So,
yeah.
By the way, this Canadian Black, Crown Royal Black, I should say, is a 90 proof. So it's got it's right in the wheelhouse of a nice little bite. So,
Yeah,
How about you, Slow?
This thing's pushing 900 proof, I think. It's very dry on the end. It's very unusual flavor. You got the mixture of almost of a whiskey, a really woody, really deep woody. You can taste the wood in it, but it also comes off right the nose and off the front end as a moonshine. It's a very unique. The Jimmy Red. Oh, let me read this. I said it one time before we talked on the podcast, but get the note on the back. And so Jimmy Red is estimated to be about 400-year-old heirloom variety of corn that originated back in the southeastern part of the United States. And George Washington used this when he distilled.
Jimmy
Red corn, yeah.
So it's been around
and
a while.
It died away all, but somebody found two shucks of corn of Jimmy Red and has brought it back out of almost near extinction.
Okay.
Just so I can get drunk on the podcast tonight.
Oh, how nice of them. That's perfect. Excellent.
It's all about me, gentlemen.
All right. I'm going to give Crown Royal Black, again, price point $32. Decent taste, vanilla-y taste, a little bit of a bite to it. Price point's good. I'll give it a 7.
The Jimmy Red here is like 88% corn, 12% malted barley. Unique flavor. In its wheelhouse, I'd give it a 9. And the overall world of bourbon, it's probably 5.
Really?
For uniqueness, though, in its wheelhouse, for what it is, and the price point, unless you make this stuff, in like giant containers, it's not economical at all. Other than the fun of learning and doing it and making it yourself.
Right. It's kind of a specialty item.
Yeah, it's fun to do, but it's very expensive. Make it in small quantities.
Okay. How about you, Hound? 1792.
Yeah, 1792, man. It's not in my wheelhouse at all. I like the wheated bourbons. This is a high rye, and when I first took a drink of it, I could really taste the pepper, the spices. And it was. I mean, it's not what I like at all, but I will give it a 5 on our rating scale. It's definitely
5?
not a daily drinker for me. Other people may like it and say it's the best thing in the world.
So
for me, not a daily drinker.
Right. Understand.
Yep.
All right. So Crown Royal Black got a 7, daily drinker, but it's really kind of a blended whiskey. And Slow's got a 9 on the for what it is, but a 5 on the bourbon because of how it's made. And then we got a 5 for the 1792. Yeah.
Yeah, in the world of bourbon, it'd be a 5, but for uniqueness, if you're drinking what you made and the whole story behind it, it's got to be a 9.
Yeah,
cool.
Good deal.
So yeah,
all right, cool.
So what we touching on first, guys?
I don't know. You want me to jump into this? You guys want to jump into yours? What do you want to do?
Hey, let's. You intrigued me about the Congress thing. Let's go with that.
Oh, okay. You want to get right into the butt circus? Okay. All right.
The butt circus.
So. Dude, it's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently there was a staffer. Staffers are people who are hired by Congress to help out. And basically, they do all their gopher shit. They need stuff looked up. What's that?
Oh, is he helping out? No, sure, it sounded like this too.
Ben Cardin. This is going to be 12-year-old Rodnator, 12-year-old Slow. I mean, all right, here we go. So Senator Ben Cardin of Maryland had a staffer that decided it would be a good idea to have sex in the Senate chamber and to film it.
Staffer or stuffer?
Both.
He got stuffed, and he's a staffer. Both.
All right, I'm gonna leave it off. Go ahead.
Yeah, just a little bit of a context here. That's the senator, the old guy, and the guy bent over on the.
Look at the expression on his face.
Yeah, the guy bent over there on the. That's a real live photo of right before he took a pounding, I guess, right
Holy
there.
Geez.
So, yeah, that's a staffer who was hired by the Senate, and. This is going to be a long. That
wasn't me. That's sound effect. This
is going to be a long segment. Okay. I didn't know you had that button.
That happened. I said, "Oh, sorry." It sounded like it was me, but no, it wasn't me. The mic stayed above table.
Did he get up? Hey, did that guy get up on that counter and say, "Let me ask you a question"?
Yeah, exactly. Let me ask you a question. He decided to film this thing in the center room. Now, my question right away is, how did he think this was a good idea? Because
he literally took one for the team.
He did take one for the team. Yeah. So he went and they had this video, and the guy who was the pitcher, so to speak, was filming the whole thing from behind as he's going to town on this guy, and the video got out, and everybody knows about it now.
I assumed there were cameras within the
Senate chamber,
the floor itself.
It has to be.
Right. No, you're saying no. This is a personal video.
Yes, the guy railing this dude was filming it from behind, while the staffer, while the staffer was getting stuffed, the stuffer was filming, and he was panning around. I saw the video, panning around and stuff. It's on it's on X, formerly Twitter. So anyway,
hey man, how's the job going? Well, it's a pain in the ass. I'll tell you that.
No, it is a pain in my ass daily. And it's funny just because, the people charged with, making all laws, passing budgets, declaring war, are hiring people. Talk about we talked about CMPD staffing last week because of the problem with the lie detector folks, that they blew the whistle that they were ignoring the lie detector results in order to get more people because they were short. So they were lowering standards. What the hell is going on here? How does this guy get hired and be so irresponsible and take all the fun out of it? How irresponsible, and his judgment is way the fuck off. If you didn't notice in the picture, he had these leather things on too. Like, he didn't just like drop his drawers and get up on the table. He was naked and put on some leather shit.
So it's a pre-planned thing. And
it was a video. Exactly right. And it's just the judgment of the guy, and
they could have done that anywhere, but they just chose the chamber floor to do it.
Yeah. And this is not
really hollow grounds, really.
Yeah. And this is just not appropriate for the Senate. It's not appropriate to do it on top of the Burger King countertop either.
Please tell me as a Democrat.
Of course.
It was.
Of course. Yeah. Oh yeah. The Democrat. Oh, they're just so depraved. Anything goes. And I just think they have permission to do whatever they want, because now and I'll ask you guys to comment in a second. Let me just finish with this part. It's come full circle. Since he's been outed, he's been fired, of course, by that old dude I showed you, Cardin, whatever his name. What was it? Cardin. Ben Cardin fired him. And now the dude who made the video, who's getting pounded on the damn desk there, is saying he's the victim because people are attacking him because he thinks he's being attacked because of his sexuality. He thinks in his mind, because he's gay, is the reason he's being attacked for his sexuality, not because he made like a homemade porno in the Senate chambers where like Supreme Court justices are questioned, where people who are getting nominated to the all these different things happen in this hollow chamber, and during the insurrection, right? Oh, how dare you? These halls are sacred, right?
Oh, yeah.
All the sacred. Yeah. There's your staffer taking a freaking jailhouse ass beating right there. And, how does that happen? How is that? I just don't, it drives me crazy. It's funny as hell, but it's just the judgment of the person and the persons involved were incredible. How do you do that in the middle of the Senate? Like people walking around outside, like how does this work? I don't know.
That's probably all fed into their little fetish.
You think getting caught? It's dangerous?
Or the chance of it.
Or just
where it was at.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
I agree with Slow Ride because he said, the whole fetish thing of it's like, hey, we're in the Senate chambers. Let's do this, and video it. And it's pretty much up yours to the United States. Or
it'd be a power thing,
Whoever.
Yeah.
And I can't remember these names, but when we start lowering our standards, we had the one rule: you could not wear any type of headdress for over 100 years, on the Senate floor. And then this raghead chick comes along, whatever her name is, the four, whatever. So let that ragheaded crazy woman wear her turban, whatever she wants to wear in there. And then you got that other guy, the crazy guy that wants to wear sweatshirts and shorts.
Fetterman.
Yeah, they actually got him in a suit now. He's starting to wear a suit now. They actually got him to do that.
They took it. They made it a law.
It was a law, and then Schumer was trying to make it a law. He didn't have to do that, and they finally changed. They said it's ridiculous. It's like that's too much. It's going too overboard. Yeah. So there you go. Just our elected officials and staffers making us proud. So I don't know, dude. It's
if it weren't for Democrats, they give all kind of good stuff to talk about on this show, man.
The Pelosi thing. There's just so much going on. With the Biden thing, Biden's daughter. Saying he took showers with her. It's just everywhere. It's just inundated. And I guess that's why it's not so hard to see why they push the drag shows for kids, or they push this transgender stuff. Guys competing against women, like anything that's like twisted up. It seems like they're like for it. It's almost like they want to let anything's okay. Anything's okay.
Oh yeah.
There's no moral compass anymore. But that was just
speaking of Biden's daughter, didn't she have a journal that got
she has a diary, and I got some of the pages. She said
what's this, man? This sitting on her play sheet for the night, but I ain't heard anything about this, so educate me.
That's because you're in Shootout Mountain, bro. You're up there. I don't know what's going on. You got ducks and stuff named after squirrels. I don't know what's
squirrels
going
and bunnies. And also, we get our news through what's that
Telegraph?
Indians used to do?
Yeah,
Indians used to do with this the blanket
smoke signal.
Yeah, smoke signal. Yeah.
So Biden's what is his daughter, right?
Yes. Yeah, his daughter.
Haley. It starts with an H, maybe, or something.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know. Anyway, so the big story was this. I'll make it real short. Her diary was missing or stolen.
Now, how old is she right now? Do we know how she is?
She's adult.
Okay. Yeah, she's
old. Yeah.
Well, it's got to be. He's like 81
50s.
Years old, right?
Yeah, he's like 80,000 years old. So her diary went missing. Okay, and it became such a big issue that the FBI was investigating and trying to find it. Okay. Well, the diary was found and it came out, and part of the diary has been released and all this other stuff. And one of the pages, it says, I try to go to bed early so that he won't come in and try to get me to take a shower with him. Or she stays up later after he goes to bed to take her shower so he won't come in and shower because I think it's not appropriate. She put it in quotes, like him showering with his 8-year-old daughter. This is when she was like 8. And she goes, probably not appropriate. It's in her diary, in her own writing. It's just so
old. She could tell it's inappropriate.
Yeah.
And
just like that other lady who said that when Joe Biden was back in the day, cornered her in a hotel room and stuck his hand up her ass. And then when she refused him, she goes, "You're ugly anyway." And he threw out everything and fired her. And that never went anywhere. It happens on both sides, but it just seems like it's a real circus on that one side. It's, I can't wait for Epstein's log to come out because that's about to come out, not to get a whole nother thing going, but Senator Blackburn's trying to get Epstein's flight log released so everybody can see who made flights to that pedophile island. But they're afraid it's gonna blow Washington up.
It will.
Yes, it will. Dick Durbin will not release it. Why? He won't answer
because of his name.
Yeah,
right.
What's got the hide?
And the names of the guy sitting next to him and the guy sitting next to him on this side. Right.
Yep.
All right. Are we good with that topic?
Yeah, man. I didn't hear anything about the.
Oh no. Oh yeah. No, I'm talking
Biden's
about the
daughter.
I'm talking about the butt parade guy. Okay.
Yeah, man. That's
yeah. That's crazy, right?
Now we're gonna quit assing around.
Yeah.
That's a deep subject.
Let me touch on this because I think you guys is going to take a little bit longer than the FBI I wanted to touch on real quick. So, guys, you remember in 2016 Russia collusion? Mm-hmm. Donald Trump colluding with Russia. He was Putin's bitch, all this other shit, and the FBI was investigating. Justice Department. Robert Mueller finally took it over. 2 years and 22 months, $30 million later, found nothing. Right? Well, the FBI agent in charge of the Russian collusion in 2016, investigating Trump, helping Mueller, was named Charles McGonigal, McGonigal. He was investigating Trump for Russia collusion during those 22 months. That was in 2016 through 2018, right? 2 years, just about. Mm-hmm. Well, now it's 2020, almost 2024. So we're talking 8 years later. It's 6 to 8 years later, right? So all that's died down. No one thinks about it anymore. Everybody knows Hillary Clinton did all that shit, and everybody knows Christopher Steele's dossier.
And it's all
was
okay. It's all good. It's all
it's all good because it doesn't matter now because it's on the past. Forget about it. Just like if I murdered somebody 8 years ago and you find out it was me today, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just forget about it because it's old. It's an old murder. No one's missing the guy no more.
Unless you support Trump, right. Then it's a different ballgame.
Right. So anyway, this guy McGonigal, I'm going to cut to the chase. Just got convicted in federal court. And I need a drum roll. For what? And here's the drum roll, please. This is not going well.
You didn't tell me about that in a pre-podcast meeting.
Yeah, let me know so I can get these things.
You're the button guy, dude. Just all right. Got arrested and convicted of colluding with Russia.
No.
How ironic. He was investigating Trump for colluding with Russia. He just got convicted, and this is Joe Biden's Justice Department just convicted an FBI agent of their own of colluding with Russia, and he got 4 years in prison, which he should have probably got more, but 4 years in prison.
Should have got life in prison.
Yeah. So the guy investigating Trump was doing the exact thing he was accusing Trump of doing, is what always happens with the Democrats. What they accuse you of, they're doing. When they say Trump's a dictator, no, Biden's turning out to be the dictator. The Justice Department's corrupt. He's the one putting people in jail on January 6th. 1,200 people from January 6th are in jail now.
The guy in the Senate, the two guys in the Senate done what they did, that guy's a dictator.
He is a dictator.
He is.
Yeah, over and over again. I mean, he just
You say dictator or dictator?
Are you saying dick like potato, dictator? Or you like...
or dictator?
Don't make me spell it out because I can't spell.
Oh, my God. Anyway, so... Yeah, so the reason I bring this up is because I like to remind people the lies because everybody just moves on. And the people who believed it back then, you should try watching some other kind of news or get your news somewhere else because you're being lied to constantly. And here's the proof. It's just ridiculous.
And saying that, and I know Rod Nader, but I don't know about you, Hound Dog. I watch Fox News mostly, but I also watch CNN just what the other side's saying.
I do too.
And if you only listen to one side, no wonder Democrats think like they do if they believe CNN is, the Bible of news.
You are literally at the mercy of the information you get. Whatever you input into your mind, that's it. But if you're smart enough these days, you got to know everybody's got a bias. So you've got to look around a little bit and research it. When I hear something, I look at all the sites. I'll go to I'll go to liberal, I'll go to right, I'll go to center, I'll go everywhere. I'll go on Twitter, look at some of the comments from my different people who kind of are in the know. And then I could kind of get the middle ground and find out what's really going on, But just crazy how. Do you remember all the shit we went through? Did you hear what I said? 22 months and $30 million on bullshit that was made up, and nobody paid for that. Hillary Clinton didn't go to jail. Christopher Steele didn't go to jail. Right. Nobody went to jail for that bullshit. And when Trump said I was wiretapped, he was wiretapped. He was right. And everybody said, they don't wiretap anymore, you moron. They have so. He didn't mean literally like the wires were tapped like back in the day. They say he was listening to him, and they were. And they were. And nothing happened. Obama's head didn't roll. Nobody's head rolled. But whatever. Anyway, that's what I got. That's my two little stories there. So anybody want to talk about the Glenn show? We want to talk about Gastonia police officer? What do we want to do next?
Hey, let's do the Gastonia police officer thing. I think that's a good tie-in, like I say. And both these topics tie into old podcasts of ours we've done the last month or so.
Yeah.
Oh, and man, guess what? Where you hearing all this stuff first? You're really hearing it here. Believe it or not. We are trendsetters.
Trendsetters.
Or something.
Finger on the pulse.
Not transgenders. I didn't say transgenders.
Yeah, don't say transgenders. No.
Yeah. Finger on the pulse.
Trendsetters.
Finger on the pulse.
All right, so what I have is the Gastonia police officer was arrested on 32 felony charges a couple weeks ago. And
where Hound Dog and I actually
retired
served for 30 years. Yeah.
And where I live. Or I currently live.
Where Rod Nader still lives there. But this goes back to like Rod was talking about on a previous podcast about the you lower your standards and what you're going to get. You're going to get shit officers when you lower your standards. And I'm sure that is probably what happened here at some point in time.
And you could also call it, Hound Dog, a judgment. Poor judgment on this person's part.
Yeah.
To get charged with 32 felonies.
Yeah, but wait till you hear some of the felonies.
Okay.
Yeah, this is totally deliberate.
Yeah. Did it on purpose, though. But good. Yeah.
And I'll show you the picture because it's on the interweb. You can look it up. This chick right here.
Okay. Wow.
But Zana, Xana Dove, 26 years old. She's been a cop for probably a year, thereabouts.
Yeah, a little over a year and a half, about 17 months.
Yep. And she got charged with 32 counts. And here, just in a nutshell, 15 counts of accessing a government computer, which I guess that means she was looking up people and, using her privileges as a law enforcement officer to do whatever with the information.
Yeah, she was telling the bad guys, these are violent felons that she was dealing with. She was telling them about arrest information, search warrant suspects.
Yeah.
She's accessing court documents and giving this to all the bad guys.
Right. Wow. And then 1 count of obstruction of justice, 1 count of conspiring to sell marijuana, 1 count of conspiring to deliver marijuana, 4 counts of felony conspiracy, 1 count of conspiring to purchase a stolen motor vehicle, 1 count of possession with intent to sell and deliver marijuana, 2 counts of trafficking opiates, heroin, by delivery, 2
That's
counts
heroin.
of trafficking heroin,
Heroin.
2 counts of trafficking opiates by transportation, 2 counts of trafficking opiates by possession, and 2 counts of trafficking by sale. So that's 32 charges. She is currently in the custody of the Gaston County Sheriff under a $1.1 million bond.
Yeah, also I got here that she was trafficking in fentanyl as well.
And fentanyl,
That's a big one these days.
And she is a Gastonia police officer.
And that's right. And so as Hound Dog rightly said, when you lower standards, there's a reason you have standards. It's to separate people. And what everybody has in common here, this girl right here, her judgment sucks because she decided to be a
piece of shit. Is what she
is. To
she
commit
was probably
all
a thug
these
to
crimes.
start off with.
She's probably,
but she shouldn't have been there to begin with. Right.
Yeah.
That should have been weeded out in the hiring process. Right. In her lie detector test, her psych evaluation. It doesn't look like she could run a mile. I don't know. Her physical fitness test. There's so many ways to eliminate somebody who shouldn't be there. And it's just not a job for you. Yeah, if this is your personality, it's just not a job for you.
And just put this out. This is what she's charged with. She's not being convicted of anything as of yet.
Right. And this
charged right now.
She's been charged, and that's where she's at. And
but how many times you guys open a trunk and see a bag of money? How many times you guys search a house and you find the right drawer and there's $100,000 in it? I mean, it's just not. It's so easy just to grab and put it in your pocket. But see, those are the people we don't need on the police force. We need the people who are going to go log the money, count the money, log it up with somebody watching, right? Bandage it up, take pictures, the whole freaking nine. Meanwhile, you have people like this. And when you give information out about search warrants and things, you're endangering the lives of your fellow officers,
right?
Who you work with.
She wasn't an officer. She's a thug in a police uniform.
Exactly right. Yeah. And how did she get through? I would love them to backtrack, Hound, and find out who the recruiter was, look at her jacket, see what qualifications she had, see how she scored on all these tests, and how the hell she became a police officer. Because this isn't just a little mistake. This is 32 freaking felonies.
This is not an
of
overnight
everything.
Thing.
Yeah.
This is a lengthy investigation. I don't know exactly the length of the investigation, but it wasn't an overnight traffic stop.
Oh, no, absolutely. Because you think about it, she hit all the gambits, right? She did a fraud. Sounds like a drug.
The computer.
The computer, the computer crimes. I mean, she's pretty much hit all the gambits there.
Yeah, and Charlotte Mack Police Department, where you're from, Rod Nader, also had charges on her for obstructing of justice, conspiring to obtain private false pretense, and filing a false police report. Charlotte Mack. She's a
one-person crime wave, and she was given a gun and a badge and given the power to take people's freedoms from them. Think about this, guys.
You're right.
How many of these fucking people are hired by departments across the country because of the shortages? Think of the cities like Minneapolis, where the riots burned the place down. Think about that shit.
Oh yeah,
unbelievable, man. Yeah,
I'm telling you, and thank God the officers and detectives that worked this case on her did a hell of a job,
Mm-hmm.
And they're I guess they are good, upstanding law enforcement.
Good
officers.
cops getting rid of bad cops.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like Slow Ride said a few times on the podcast, nobody hates a bad cop worse than a good cop.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
right.
they give us all bad names because what happens when you come up on these calls? I don't trust you, motherfuckers. You did this to my, and some people have a valid argument. If your one encounter with a police officer was a corrupt guy, right? That's what I always said. Whenever I was policing, you guys see if you agree with this. I'm sure you do. When I was dealing with somebody, I tried to deal with them in the most professional way. But if they were a dick and they needed it, I'd smack the shit out of them.
Right.
And the reason I would is because if they were going to be in a dick to me, my big ass lug, and then another officer came up with them and I treated them and I said, "Oh, sir, please. And I was very timid. The next officer that has to deal with that same person would get treated the same way by that person because they'll say all Charlotte cops, they back down, just whatever. But, after an encounter with me, if they treat them like that, they'd say, "Oh, Charlotte cops will smack the shit out of you if you deserve it, if you push them." You know what I'm saying? I didn't want people to be behind, other officers to be behind with somebody on their first encounter because of something they dealt with me. You know what I'm saying? So treat them fair, but treat them firmly. And that's all you had to do. I don't know, just to make sure the other officers were safe, not, given the reputation of, taking money like this or giving information out for money. That's 100% like almost organized crime, Hound. I mean, she literally.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I hadn't read a whole heck of a lot about this. I think her sister was involved somehow as well, maybe.
Oh, really?
I think I read something like that. And hell, that should be a damn RICO act.
Yeah, could be. Yeah. Sounds like she's pretty much a one-man band, though, right now.
All
right,
man. And drinks on me the next time we meet if either one of y'all can correctly pronounce her middle name.
Oh,
I can't see it. What's it say?
It's Dajanae.
D-A-J.
Dajanana.
D-A-J what?
Dajanae. If I can read my own writing.
Dajane.
Dajanae.
Or Dajane. That's probably the cool way they say it. Dajane.
How about Dana? Dayana.
How about fucking Jailbird?
How about piece of shit?
Yeah, how about Jailbird?
All right, guys, she's presumed innocent until found guilty.
Yeah.
Maybe in the course
32 felonies.
And here's another thing too.
I think one will stay somewhere.
She's supposed to be tried by a jury of her peers, so she'd be all police officers on that.
All police officers, all drug dealers. One of those.
Oh yeah, that's what's true. Yeah,
which peers? Which peers?
Well,
she's both sides of the fence.
If you're a DA, it's all police officers. If you're her attorney, it's gonna be all thugs.
But I just pulled up the Gaston County Sheriff's Office inmate search and pulled her name up, and the list of charges that are on her, man, it goes into a little bit more detail than what the news channel had put out for WBTV. What I read that while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Man, there's all kinds of stuff on here. 32 counts, but heroin, like I said, fraud. Man, this woman is a piece of something.
Hey, and Sheriff Hawkins of the Gaston County Sheriff's Office has actually been on this podcast.
Yeah, he has.
Good friend of ours. Yeah, he used to police with us in Gastonia.
There you go. Cool. Well, that's a bad news story, but remember, most police officers, 99% of them are good folks, man. They're solid. And the problem is you only hear about these stories, and there's only a handful.
To look up a good story.
Yeah, there's always a handful, a year. And when there's over 700,000 officers across the country. But, I always said this too, guys, when you're picking police officers from the general population, if 5% of the population are morons or idiots or criminals, odds are 5% might get through the process. So there's always going to be bad police officers, but there's always going to be bad doctors, firemen, medic, wherever else you hire, because there's bound to be people slipping through, who fool the system, who game the system. Right. And unfortunately that happens from time to time, but the majority, there are a lot of good police officers, and there's a good system in place if they follow it. It's very good. The psych eval, the lie detector, the interview, the physical fitness, it's very thorough if they follow it.
And some of them that come through the academy, are good people, aren't thugs until they get the opportunity to be thugs.
Judgment.
Like you say, come across that break and entering, and there's that, $100,000 laying there, or, that Rolex or whatever. And then
a lot of that slow is upbringing. So, you're getting still good morals and a good upbringing. You don't steal, that's what the reason I ask you. A lot of times, you ever stole anything? Like, it's just because you're going to be faced with decisions. Every time you make a traffic stop, how many times you pull out a wad of money this thick from a guy who says, I'll just take the money, just let me go. Like, how many times has that happened? It happens all the time.
Can I tell a police story?
Yeah,
it's a short one. It's a short one.
No, go ahead. Just go ahead. That's
over
what's
near
about.
The Front Tooth. That's the Frontier. So it was a country bar in Gastonia. We call it the Front Tooth.
Yep.
There's a couple of guys doing showing their butts on motorcycles. So I pulled them over, and one guy got on the back, and I'm writing him a ticket, and he says, "Man, I tell you what, I don't need a ticket. I got $100 bill. It's yours if you let me go." I'm like, "Man, you don't do that." He says, "Yeah, $100 bill." And I already patted him down, searched me. He's fine. Just sitting in the back of the police car, writing him a ticket. And he pulls out and showed the $100 bill. I said, "You sure you don't do this?" Kind of goes back to the prostitute thing, last podcast. He said, "Yeah, I do." So, all right, I got out, and he stuck the $100 bill, stuck it in my pocket. I turned around, handcuffed him, put him back in the car, and charged him with bribing a government official and the reckless driving and took him to jail. He was going to go get a ticket and turn loose.
Did he say, "Well, shit"?
Yeah. He goes, "Man, that ain't fair."
That ain't fair. Just like the prostitute didn't like it when he did it to her.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's not fair. Yeah. I like it how you say, "You sure you want to do this?" Like you literally drag it out of them. They really want to do it. And then they go, "That wasn't right."
Yeah. You want to say, think about what you're getting ready to do.
Exactly.
I'm so far behind on the sound bites tonight. Well, shit.
That's
what the hell was that?
Good. You're making up for it. All right.
That's like me when I was doing undercover stuff back in the day. I would go in to buy marijuana or whatever kind of drug people were selling. And in my mind, I'm thinking, dude, don't do it. Tell me to get out of your house. Tell me to get, leave. Don't ever come back. Just do not sell me this marijuana.
Yeah, and it's funny saying that, Hound Dog. You meet a lot of these, seriously, drug dealers, some of these criminals, really, they're, as far as personalities, some of them are nice people. They're, you think, as like next door neighbor, you think, I like this guy's next door neighbor.
Yeah, it's not always the guy with the scar on his face, some of these people just
I tell you,
get on the wrong track,
Cold case homicide, and the guy admitted to conspiracy after the fact. And man, the whole time he's sitting there interviewing, spending time with him, talking to him, you think, man, this is a really nice guy. I'd go have a drink with this guy. And he was involved in a homicide after the fact. He helped dispose of the body.
Yep. And sometimes people don't realize they're breaking the law when they're breaking the law. Like someone could say, like, "Oh my God, you killed somebody. Just help me. Like, and then you're thinking, well, it's already dead. Like some people who might not know, and just anything you do to circumvent the law at that point, move the body, anything, you're part of the process of the homicide. You get charged with
before, during, and after the fact.
Yeah, you gotta. The second he said, like, "Help me move a dead body," you say, "Fuck no," and you pick up the phone and call the police. That's what you're charged to do.
Oh, yeah.
I know if it's a family member, maybe just close the door and walk away, but you know what I'm saying. You can't do anything. Yeah, give him the slow. Give him the slow thing.
I need to talk to you about Hound Dog right
quick. Yeah. So, but yeah, some people don't even realize what they're doing.
Well, I tell you, and a sidebar of that, the very same cold case we're working on, we got this bad guy who is admitted to conspiracy after the fact, just trying to set up the main guy that done the homicide. And we get him wired up, and long story short, it's going long into the day. It's just not happening. We decide we're going to go get dinner right quick and try it after dinner. So we take this guy with us as an informant, and we go to Catton's Cap, fish camp, fish restaurant for some people not from North Carolina.
Yeah.
And we have dinner and stuff, and it's getting late, and we all said as detectives to the bad guy or to the informant, let's just table this for tomorrow. We'll start all over again in the morning. And the guy says, I got a job to do first thing in the morning in Charlotte. It's all right. Maybe we can do it later after that. And he did not lie. He got up that morning, went to Charlotte, and robbed a filling station.
That was his job in the morning.
Yeah, I got a job first thing in the morning.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and he goes to Charlotte and robs a filling station.
He was straight up. Yeah.
Well, right, go back to prison, I guess. I don't
know. Here's a warm your heart cop story. So, Officer Larry DePrimo from New York City encounters a homeless man and notices that he does. This is in the wintertime, I suppose. Notices that he does not have any shoes on. After talking to the homeless man, he found out that he was a veteran, and he didn't have any, shoes to wear. Well, the cop picks him up, takes him in, and buys him a pair of shoes.
Yep.
You know, how many people would walk right by that same guy in the middle of wintertime, see him sitting there on the sidewalk and not have any kind of shoes on? Just,
But don't even think about it. Just go on.
Hundreds of people walk by him. It's
Yeah,
almost like they're just a fixture, like a building or a sign. They just walk right by him.
Officer DePrimo, you done a hell of a job, man. You done a hell of a job.
And and just that shows. We have veterans sleeping on the streets with no shoes, and yet we got people coming across the border who are getting put up in hotels.
Illegal aliens.
Think about that shit.
Illegal aliens breaking the laws of our country
every day. Thousands are coming across and getting taken care of. And we have vets on the street.
Chicago that they all started raising Cain and almost to the point of rioting because they didn't like the food they're being served.
New York, yeah.
New York.
They didn't like. They didn't
Chicago's
like.
in New York.
They didn't like the seasoning of the sandwich. Like
you're
lucky. Like you're being fed. See, that shows they're not really needy. See, to me, that's a sign they're not really needy. Wherever they came from wasn't that bad, I guess, because now they're here. Instead of saying, wow, great, I got food to eat. Wow, and just chowing that thing down. I don't really like it. And they're choosing to throw it away because they don't like the food. That means they're not really needy.
Flag in our country.
Yep. They're false. They're false people. They don't really need. They're just coming here. Yep.
And another side. He keep doing another sidebar, man. I hadn't even told you guys about this. It's funny. Talking to, I know a couple of the guys that work for the prison system up here in the mountains, and I didn't realize it's just telling them, when the prisoners go to court or to a doctor's office like that, the prison system has to provide them with clothes to wear.
Right.
And they go to these thrift shops and some are donated and they get these clothes from like secondhand places.
Right.
And they found themselves amusing themselves by dressing these people up in some very odd ways. To the point, one guy was so dressed up almost like a clown that the judge ordered him to take him back and redress him. If anybody else comes back from that prison dressed like that, they're going to hold him in contempt of court.
Oh,
really?
Wow. Started buying them some funky clothes. Nice.
Dang.
Unbelievable.
So I also heard today that the governor of New York says he don't want any more. She doesn't want any more immigrants.
Well, isn't that
She doesn't have a choice. They bust them there.
Is that a sanctuary state, or are they doing that by cities? What is that?
That's a sanctuary. That's a sanctuary city. Well, she's the governor of New York, so I guess it's a sanctuary state. But New York is a sanctuary city. But even the mayor there, that ex-police captain, a black dude with the shaved head, I forget his name now. He's a moron. Now they're all of a sudden bitching about it because everything's fine when they were in Texas and Arizona, and no one had to deal with it. Yeah, when no one had to deal with it. But then the greatest thing ever done was when they started shipping them to Chicago, New York, all these different liberal cities. And all of a sudden, whoa. You know how Martha's Vineyard, it took them 30 minutes to get them, maybe an hour. They shipped a busload to Martha's Vineyard, which is the playground of everybody in government. Obama's, everybody goes to Martha's Vineyard for vacation and shit. It's a real hot dollar. Boy, when those immigrants showed up there, it didn't take them but a few minutes to get buses together and ship them to an army base. Not allowed to Martha's Vineyard because that's where we hang out. Oh, yeah. It's okay for them to be in your neighborhood, not my neighborhood, because I'm rich and my name's Obama. Fuck you. So now they're getting a taste of their own medicine.
All right, that's where the old fire was. Pew, would have shot top of that little meter if we had one.
Yeah,
I'm going to try to find something. I got to find something.
We need to have a Rodinator meter, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got a couple more. We said we were going to talk about a couple more things, so we got to move on. You good? We good?
Yeah, man.
All right. Slow. Glenn Lowry, the Glenn Show. You want to touch on that?
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, you talk about diversity. We're three wipe. We're three white. That must
man, what is in that? What is in that?
That must be a higher proof than I thought. We're three white retired police officers. These
drunk police officers.
Yeah, these two really well-read men, scholars. They're professors in their field. They're top of their field, and they're black guys. So it does play into what I'm saying. They're more left. We're certainly more right. They're black. We're white, and everything to do with George Floyd was done because of race, and that's why we bring up the fact these guys are black and we're white. But yeah, man. Glenn Lowry, he's assistant professor at Brown University. John, say his last name,
McWhorter,
assistant professor at Columbia University. Now, these guys first thought that the officer was guilty of killing Jeff Floyd. Good grief. Maybe somebody else can tell this.
Derek Chauvin, they thought Derek Chauvin did kill George Floyd.
Yeah. And then that documentary came out. They watched that and they seen the truth that wasn't allowed in court. And these two guys recanted what they said and say, you know what? This guy's innocent.
And that's significant, Slow. Those are two black guys with a podcast who are professors at prestigious school, professors at prestigious schools, right? And the reason, and then the reason it's significant is because the one guy, Glenn Lowry, said, I can't, quote, on his podcast, I watch it, quote, I can't believe what I'm about to say, but Derek Chauvin didn't kill George Floyd. He had COVID. He had meth in his system. He had fentanyl in his system. He didn't die till he get to the hospital. He wasn't choked at all. And that's taught in their academy. And he says, I can't believe I'm saying this right now. It really took those guys something to put this show on, I think, because they had to admit they were man enough to admit they were wrong, which was great. And you know what? When the truth has always got to come through, fellas, no matter what, whether it favors your political side, your color of your skin, the truth has always got. It's so easy. Just tell the truth and let the chips fall where they may. You know.
And let me tell you, us as white cops, it's easy for us to sit here and say, you know, the officer's innocent. George Floyd is a piece of crap, and you know, there's more air for us to breathe since that piece of scum is dead. And I believe that. But these are two black scholars. It took a little bit for them to come out of their corner and say, guess what, guys? Fair is fair.
We were wrong.
And as we have said on the show, at least I know I've said it, and I think you guys agree with me, the Derek Chauvin leaning over George Floyd saying he can't breathe was a really bad look. I didn't like it. I didn't like to see it.
The way the media presented it, it looked terrible.
Right. All they showed was that video, and 8.5 minutes. And if I was the supervisor out there or I was his partner, I would have pulled him off and said, nope, sit him up on the curb like a human being so we can get some air. And so the cameras will show us treating him humanely. Like, there's a visual thing here. Everybody's around telling him, hey, he can't breathe. He says he can't breathe. So people are trying to tell. And Chauvin's just overriding everything, as some cops do. I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional. I'm a cop. Step back. No, you really need to listen sometimes to people, because maybe in the moment you don't realize the visual. But it was a bad visual. But that's it. That's all it was. They were literally trained to do that in the academy, which wasn't allowed in court by the judge.
Yeah, and I tell you too, something along saying they were emotionally involved. You know, and for example, if Rod Nader got hit by a bad guy and he got away and you got a warrant on him, you didn't send Rod Nader after the bad guy. You sent two other officers that weren't emotionally involved to go arrest the bad guy. Right.
Because you know, the other thing is, we talked about the Minneapolis video that's out there that shows all these new revelations that wasn't allowed in court. We talked about that. It's on Rumble, right? Slow.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the one these gentlemen watched and came to that determination. So you can watch it. But when you watch the body cam footage on what these officers dealt with George Floyd before it came to that ending, you would understand their frustration, because they did everything but roll out the red carpet and try to treat this guy like a man, like a regular human being, asked him to sit in a car, all this stuff. He denied everything. No. He's trying to eat drugs. He's saying he can't breathe from the time they walk up to his car and he's sitting in the driver's seat. He's saying, I'm having trouble breathing. So they're not believing when he's on the ground saying he can't breathe, because they've been listening to it for the last 30 minutes.
And
I can't breathe. Maybe because you got COVID, motherfucker. You know?
Let's digress back to where I arrested the guy for, reckless driving the motorcycle. What did I do? Put him back in the car. What do you do? He willfully got back there. He didn't have to fight him. Didn't have to, body slam. Didn't have to arrest him at that point. I arrested him for the bribery, because he's going to hold a ticket and leave. He done as the officer asked him to do.
Just comply.
He got in the back of the car.
If you comply, everything's fine. Have your day in court. If you don't agree with something, it's in court. It's not on the street. You never hold court on the street. Not for the officer and not for the bad guy. Turns out bad.
Yeah, but the Glenn Show. Get an opportunity to watch that on YouTube. Glenn Show.
Yep.
Glenn Show.
And it seems like every officer gets tried on the street through the media, through the the mainstream media or whatever. They try there, or guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah,
That's what the police officers are.
Right. And what happens is the thing that always happens that even in Charlotte now, the video that people see on the news is the video given by the people standing around, the cell phone footage. It's never the body cam. It's always the cell phone footage, and they can doctor and cut it and do it. And they can show whatever they want to get the clicks. You know, if it bleeds, it leads. If it's showing cops in bad light, of course it's going to get more footage.
On purpose because it sells.
Yes.
It sells the media. It sells
if it bleeds,
content.
it leads. Yes.
And the media, their number one goal in the news is to make a profit.
It's to get viewers.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Viewers,
it's to break stories too. That's why they break a lot of stories early without all the information. Then they have to do retractions and they have to do updates. But you know what the problem is, guys? And these are psychologists have studied this. The headline, the first headline that comes out is what most people see and what sticks in their heads. George Floyd killed by Derek Chauvin. That's all people want to know. They don't see the follow-ups. They don't see the false autopsy. They don't see the good autopsy. They don't see anything that says, and again, everything that's come out, he should have a new trial immediately. He should have an appeal immediately.
Yeah, I agree.
Hell, they tried to kill him in prison to keep this from happening because of all the stuff coming out. Stabbed 22 times. But he's an innocent man in jail. Not innocent of everything. He might need some retraining or whatever, never be a cop again. Yeah, bad judgment. Again, here's a judgment call. It shouldn't have been laying on him like that for so long. He should just let him sit on the curb.
And he needs to be compensated for every time he's been in there, for being stabbed, everything.
One free guy in prison is a tragedy. I'd rather have 10 guilty guys go free than one man in prison unjustly. It must be horrific to be in there. If I was that guy, Chauvin, I'd be like, holy shit, I'm in here. I told you I didn't do nothing. You know, he must be like, where's my appeal? Like, how is this not happening? And because you know what's going to happen? The place would burn again because they'll let it burn again. They did before, and they'll do it again. They don't want any part of this.
People like us let it happen. If
exactly
the majority
right.
stands up and says, you know what? You're not doing this crap anymore, and we're going to hold you accountable, and we're going to put our foot in your butt. You're going to think you're on the Senate floor when I'm through with you, buddy.
Yeah, yeah, and you're going to have something put in your butt too, just like that other dude.
That's right. This is not going to happen.
But the one thing I want to say, backtracking for a second, is in my experience in law enforcement, 30 years, and you guys as well, if you cannot breathe, if you really cannot breathe, you cannot talk.
You can't talk.
So
and if he would have if he couldn't breathe and he was getting choked out, he would have died on the scene because he would have had no air and or blood. That's it. He would have died there.
And
he didn't die there.
Neck trauma.
Right. And there's no neck trauma. He didn't die there. He died at the hospital, which means he wasn't choked out on the scene. He could breathe. Yep. For God's sakes, people, just common sense.
Did y'all hear my real mistake? I hit my mic on my headset.
Free Derek Chauvin. That's what I got to say.
Yeah, we got a poster made up.
Yeah.
That and a Rodinator meter.
A Rodinator meter. I want a Rodinator meter now. You got me excited about that. That'd be good.
We got to figure out.
Hey, listen. If it started like a light color, went up to red, I'd be trying to hit that red sucker every freaking night, bro.
You don't have to try. Good.
You would. It just comes natural.
You don't know it, but EMS is sitting around the block right now. Every time we have a podcast, we have them sitting around the block before they're going to stroke out.
I believe it. Oh, if I wasn't working out every day, I probably would stroke out by now. I get my frustrations out, so I'm good. I enjoy talking about this stuff too, dude. I enjoy enlightening people to the truth because there's so much bullshit out there,
Yeah, you're right.
And the only thing we deliver on this show is facts. This is facts.
It's true. We do make a lot of things, and we do,
we have fun doing what we do.
Oh yeah,
right.
But
a lot of this is facts.
We're talking about.
We have opinions. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of this stuff is factual. This is factual.
Yeah.
New autopsy came out. It's bullshit.
And a lot of cops can't sit there in our respective departments and sit there in assembly in the briefing room and say out loud the things that we do. We are their voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we're their voice because they're thinking. We get a lot of feedback, from a lot of cops, man, that say, "Hey, man, appreciate you saying that because we can't."
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Feels pretty damn good too, to be able to say that.
Administration don't know one's feelings get hurt.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
And
if you decide to talk out of turn, you get punished.
Oh yeah.
You get stuck somewhere. Trust me, I know.
Slow term or long term, it happens.
Yep. Absolutely. Looks like we're right on time. We're pulling up to it in about an hour.
FBI Director Christopher Ray said this:
Ray.
We're going to get hit hard by terrorist attacks, and it's going to hurt a lot more than 9/11. That's what he said on the Senate floor. Mm-hmm. The guys out there watch is six.
Yep, he said literally he's never seen all the meters they have across the board, whether it be with the grid, the border, infrastructure, whatever. Everything's showing red. There's a danger of an attack across the board. He's never seen every metric.
And they're there.
Red.
They're just waiting on orders. They came through Obama's weak border system, no border system. They came in that way.
System. Right. Yep.
Same difference.
Same difference. Obama, but it's Obama's third term. It's Biden.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Right. It's Biden.
Millions, 8 million people have come across that border in like the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Where'd they all go?
Just waiting for their orders. And I think it's going to be a lot like Israel. Maybe not with the hostages because there's no place to take them, but just mass slaughter of us.
Well, once all those military-aged people, 20 to 29, 30 years old, coming across, all those males, the ones who are problems, once they get armed up and they get their contacts, malls, churches, schools, synagogues, shootings. Yeah. Oh, by the way, just this past weekend, 20 shot in Chicago. We hadn't touched on that in a while. I would call that, right? And that would be considered a mass shooting, right? But it's not, because individual people were shot by individual people. So it's not a mass shooting, but 20 people died. And, black on black crime. Nobody gives a shit. They just let them keep dying up there. So
where's Black Lives Matter? Is black on black crime?
They don't give a shit. They don't make any money off
those
that.
Black lives don't matter.
Yeah,
they only make it off of Derek Chauvin kneeling on a guy. That's the only way they make money.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Tell us how you really feel.
Any last thoughts?
Yeah, man. Derek Chauvin needs a new trial.
He does.
Yeah, big time. Hey, that Senate guy put some ice on your ass. Looks like, I don't know, might look like one of those monkeys with the big red asses that run around. You ever see those things? Look like they got a whoopee cushion on their ass. Yeah, that motherfucker swollen.
Speaking of that, we need to do a follow-up.
No, I don't want to follow up on that guy. What? I don't want to follow up.
Oh, it's been about 9 months, hasn't it?
Yeah, big Littlefoot should be born by now.
Yeah, Littlefoot should be born.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, a prior show where the lady says she had sex with Bigfoot. When she
impregnated.
Yeah.
And the husband can, I believe you, honey, because I don't think you'd cheat on me.
Yeah. And the husband's kind of hairy, too, so he might need a DNA test, because you know what a little guy's going to come out looking like.
He's got a few choice words to say to Bigfoot if it comes out true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He better say it from afar.
When he sees him, he's going to have some words with him.
Yeah. Bigfoot will shove something up in his ass, too.
Well, drink some of this. You'll see Bigfoot sooner than you think. Hey, what if the guy on Senate floor see Bigfoot?
He saw
yeah.
big something.
Dude, it's going off the rails. Time to wrap up.
All right, guys, drink Booze Bourbon. Here's drink Booze Bourbon. If you like the content that's going on this podcast, we'll hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. And guys, our subscriptions are going way up. It's doing really well. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, man, and get us out there in front of other people. And leave comments, man. Anything you agree, disagree, whatever you like. You want to talk about?
I shaved my beard.
Yeah,
good or no? Yes or no, folks? I shaved the beard. Yes or no? It's winter, but it got on my nerves. Give me a comment. Yes or no? Beard? Yes, no, whatever.
I vote yes. Let's hide that mug.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah.
Well, shit. First
Hey,
responders get home safely.
And let's drink about it and drink responsibly.
See if I can get all these buttons.
And this has been a Studio 77.
Stole my line, hound dog.
I wanted to say it. I've never said it.
Way to go, hound dog.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
You mean it's over? Well, shit.